Talk about David versus Goliath. The the over 6-foot tall Canadian giant towering over like a mountain. I gotta tell you what, I would love to see a shot of these two standing side by side. Brooke Fairchild probably comes up to Vanessa Craven's belly button. Vanessa towers over Brooke now, locked in. Collar and elbow tie-up. Vanessa Craven and Brooke Fairchild in the middle of the ring. Brooke doing her best to muster up the strength against the Canadian giant. But unfortunately, although she is dynamite in a little package, Brooke Fairchild's gonna have one hell of a go. Oh my goodness, look at this here. Vanessa Craven's hand, almost, the distance from her hand seems like it's in the heavens when it comes to Vanessa Craven and Brooke Fairchild locking in for a test of strength there, and Vanessa Craven now locking in the test of strength. Brooke Fairchild immediately going down. As you can already tell, Brooke Fairchild, although she is small in stature, she's got one hell of amount of fight in her. But Brooke Fairchild, unfortunately, is no match for the Canadian giant here. Vanessa Craven dominating. Dominating, and now she says she's going to give Brooke Fairchild a fighting chance. She's going to let her start, she says here. Now, locked up here, Brooke Fairchild mustard, trying to just move the immovable object here, and now Brooke Fairchild feeling the full might and the strength of Vanessa Craven. Vanessa Craven just toying around with Brooke Fairchild like a cat plays with a mouse, and now Brooke Fairchild using a little bit of those slick moves here, kicking Vanessa Craven off. Now she has Vanessa Craven's interest. Vanessa Craven, I gotta tell you what, although Brooke Fairchild is small in stature, you have to take her seriously. She has not been able to find success here in the LWWL, but she has one hell of amount of fight. Vanessa Craven easily being able to pick up Brooke Fairchild and carrying over to the corner now. Vicious strikes to the midsection. Another strike to Brooke Fairchild. And now Vanessa Craven. Oh, vicious shoulder tackle into the turnbuckle. And yet another shoulder tackle, doubling Brooke Fairchild over here. Brooke Fairchild in a match that seems impossible to win. Double arm throat choke here on Brooke Fairchild as referee Charlie Color counts. Here, Vanessa Craven, a master at her craft here, able to use that full count. Oh my goodness, a vicious kick to the midsection of Vanessa Craven just aggravates her. Another kick. Now, push, kicking Vanessa Craven off, and a face slap. Brooke Fairchild giving Vanessa Craven a taste of what she's all about. Brooke Fairchild now, oh, jumping up into the heavens, trying to scale the mountaintop of Vanessa Craven. And look at Vanessa. Vanessa Craven just looking at Brooke Fairchild. Oh no, slamming Brooke Fairchild's back into the turnbuckle. And now, big boot, Canadian boot. Look at the size of Vanessa's foot. It's larger than Brooke Fairchild's head. That foot completely eclipsing the face of Brooke Fairchild. Handful of air here, and Brooke Fairchild up in a bear hug. Brooke Fairchild may as well be up in the clouds right now. Up in the clouds, higher than she's ever been before. Brooke Fairchild could practically touch the lighting here in the ceiling as far as Vanessa Craven has her hiked up into the air. Brooke trying to muster up some strength here, trying her best to try to get out of this bear hug, but unfortunately the strength of the giant and Vanessa Craven is just too much now. Vanessa Craven trying to lock in that arm, and she picks up Brooke Fairchild now, holding her up into the air, crucifix. What is Vanessa Craven gonna do? Airplane spin here, and another, and another. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa Craven just toying with Brooke Fairchild like a toy. Oh no! Slamming the head of Brooke Fairchild, practically KOing her, knocking her out. Brooke Fairchild trying to come to here, a vicious head slam to the turnbuckle. Oh, and a vicious strike to the nether region, right in between the legs. Vanessa Craven playing a little dirty. And it's questionable as to why Vanessa Craven feels the need. She obviously, and another strike, right to the breadbasket of Brooke Fairchild. Vanessa Craven pulling out all the stops here. Vanessa, if you have been following Vanessa Craven's career here in the LWWL and Ring Divas as a company, you will know that Vanessa Craven sometimes just gets a little crazy. Now with a handful of hair, Brooke Fairchild trying to lock in that other arm. And yes, she has locked in the camel clutch here. The full brunt, the might of Vanessa Craven here bearing down on the back of Brooke Fairchild as Vanessa Craven locks out and playing dirty here. Fingers in the nose, blocking the nose so that she can, so she's blocking that air, that passageway of air. Rear naked choke. Now Brooke Fairchild just looks like she just passed out. Now what's Vanessa Craven gonna do here? She's knocked out, Vanessa. She doesn't look like she has any life here. Face slam into the mat. Vanessa Craven calls this the face fuck. Slamming the face of Brooke Fairchild to the mat, and Brooke Fairchild now able to muster up the strength to kick up that elbow. Oh, and Brooke Fairchild again. I gotta tell you, as you can see here, Brooke Fairchild, although she is small in stature, she has a lot of fight. And even though to many, this may be a fight that she could not, or cannot, or she cannot win. Ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Fairchild is a champion at heart. And she's gonna come in here and she's gonna do her best to come out of here with the victory no matter what the obstacle. Vanessa Craven now, throat choke here, put in, bro, no, vicious punch to the belly. Raking the midsection of Brooke Fairchild here. Oh, a vicious chop to the chest of Brooke Fairchild. Picking Brooke Fairchild up now, carrying her around like a rag doll. Oh my God, side slam to Brooke Fairchild, taking her down. Vicious slamming maneuver here, and now Vanessa Craven choking her blatantly. Blatant chokehold here to Brooke Fairchild. Vicious knee strike to the side. And another knee strike to the side of Vanessa Craven. Vanessa Craven is just toying with Brooke Fairchild now. She is just having her way with Brooke Fairchild. Brooke Fairchild doing her best to mount just a little bit of offense, but it is simply unsuccessful now when she flips over into her Boston Crab. Vanessa Craven has it locked in deep here. Brooke Fairchild trying her best to get out of this move. She's trying, she's scratching, she's clawing, trying to get to those ropes. Brooke Fairchild trying to muster up the strength here, ladies and gentlemen, but it is just doesn't seem to be possible for Brooke Fairchild, to move that mountain, but Brooke Fairchild, an elbow strike strategically placed on the hip. Now a bridge cradle pin. Brooke Fairchild kicking out again. Ladies and gentlemen, a third kick out by Brooke Fairchild. If anything, you gotta know that Brooke Fairchild comes out of here with a hell of a fight. Brooke Fairchild will not surrender to the giant in Vanessa Craven. Now, a handful of air here. Vanessa Craven seems a little bit upset. Vanessa Craven now. Oh, air pull. Look at this nasty air pull there. Look at the neck and the hair of Brooke Fairchild there. No, ladies and gentlemen. No. Vanessa Craven using every dirty trick in the book. Brooke Fairchild being dragged to the middle of the ring. What is Vanessa Craven gonna do here? I don't like it. I don't like it. Gets her legs here in a submissive maneuver here. Brooke Fairchild now securing those arms, and oh my God! Oh my God, Brooke Fairchild is out! She is out, ladies and gentlemen. She is out. Brooke Fairchild, there is no life in her left. Her head just bounced off of that mat like a piñata. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank God. Thank God, referee Charlie Cullen just calling this match after that vicious maneuver. Brooke Fairchild brutally KO'd by that vicious maneuver. We've not seen this maneuver here frequently by Vanessa Craven, but that maneuver has simply knocked out Brooke Fairchild in a single swipe. Ladies and gentlemen, El Duman, the former world champion, El Duman squaring off in the middle of the ring here against a newcomer to the LWWL, one Devin Myers. El Duman and Devin Myers talking a little bit of trash to each other. Ladies and gentlemen, new talents being called up to the main roster, checking to see if they have what it takes to compete against the big dogs here in the LWWL. Test of strength here. El Duman locking up tight with Devin Myers. Vicious punch to the belly sends Devin Myers doubling over, followed up with a vicious foot stomp, sending her body careening down to the mat. El Duman now grabbing a handful of Devin's hair, picking her up and talking some more trash. Devin trying to find her spot. Looks like she's trying to get a punch in. El Duman, much too smart for that. Collar and elbow tie-up. Both of these two competitors, these LWWL competitors in the middle of the ring here, vying, trying to see who is the stronger of the two, as El Duman beautifully switches Devin Myers around, turns her around into a beautiful full Nelson hold. Got it locked in tight in the middle of the ring here. Devin Myers showing a little bit of fire and a little bit of heart now. Quickly running around, wrapping her arm around the neck of El Duman. Devin Myers showing some fire and showing some spunk here. El Duman here biting the arm of Devin Myers, letting her know, listen, if you didn't know it then, you know it now. Devin Myers talking to the referee, letting her know she's been bitten. And let me tell you something, El Duman, there is nothing beyond El Duman. There's nothing that she will not do to make sure that she is firmly in control of the contest, and that includes biting an arm, a limb, anything that needs to be done to get on top of the contest, to be in control. That is why El Duman is in fact a dangerous competitor here in the LWWL. El Duman now talking a bunch of trash as Devin desperately trying to grab the ropes. Devin trying to grab the ropes now, and El Duman uses those same ropes, in fact, to her advantage as she is trying to pick up Devin Myers here. Trying to grab her arms, and what is she trying to do with it here, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, now taking the head of Devin Myers and using those ropes to her advantage, as now she finally has got this move locked in tight, ladies and gentlemen. Devin Myers now tangled up with those ropes by El Duman. She crawls over to the turnbuckle, trying her best to get away from the world champion in El Duman. Vicious strike sends Devin Myers down to the mat as El Duman looks on, surveying the damage that she has inflicted on this newcomer to the LWWL. Handful of hair, picking Devin up, and now, ladies and gentlemen, El Duman trying to grab anything that she can. Vicious stomp here. Another stomp to Devin now, as she falls victim to the destruction of El Duman. Body viciously being tossed into the turnbuckle, slammed in fact, and now El Duman jumping fist punch to the belly of Devin Myers, and now El Duman vicious strikes to the belly of Devin Myers. El Duman now dragging the body of Devin Myers in the middle of the ring. Elle doing whatever she can to stay on top of this contest, grabbing an arm, grabbing a leg, and what is she going to do with it here? Bow and arrow stretch with her foot right in the small of the back of Devin Myers with the back arching like this. Ladies and gentlemen, vicious punch to the belly again to Devin Myers. Devin Myers has been on the receiving end of a beatdown and a destruction by El Duman. Devin Myers trying to show some heart, trying to show some fire here, but unfortunately it's not working out well for her, ladies and gentlemen. El Duman still on top of this contest. What's she going to do with Devin here? Grabbing a handful of hair. And now rear naked choke here. Locked in tight to Devin Myers. Seated rear naked choke as Devin Myers desperately grasping at the arm of El, trying to alleviate some of that pain as the arm of El Duman is wrapped around her throat. And El Duman now, as you can see, veteran maneuver here as El Duman locks her arm around the neck as she pushes down on the head of Devin Myers just to make the cinching, the pain, the cutting off of the circulation even more here, ladies and gentlemen. Vicious strike to the back of Devin Myers. Ladies and gentlemen, another vicious punch to the belly of Devin Myers as El Duman looks on at the damage that she has inflicted on her opponent here. El Duman talking even more trash as she has a handful of hair of Devin Myers now standing bear hug. What is El Duman doing here? Picking Devin Myers up, putting her on the turnbuckle. What in the world? Wrapping her foot around, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Vicious kick to the belly. Tree of woe to Devin Myers as her head floating, dangling dangerously upside down, ladies and gentlemen. Vicious kick now to the crotch area of Devin Myers. Ladies and gentlemen, Devin Myers here hung up to dry here, so to speak. Tree of woe in the turnbuckle as El Duman has her way with Devin Myers, now dragging her body to the middle of the ring, El Duman has simply destroyed Devin Myers here, having her way with this new LWWL competitor, and El Duman is loving every single second of it. Vicious claw, El Duman taking her fingernails and digging them into the belly of Devin Myers as she claws the belly and follows up with vicious close-fisted punches, strikes to the belly region of Devin Myers. One has to wonder just how much longer Devin is going to be able to sustain against the offense, the level of which El Duman is laying down on the new LWWL competitor. And every single step of the way, El Duman consistently talking trash while she is laying down the law in what she believes to be her ring. El Duman now looks like she's setting up for something here. Can full of hair, ladies and gentlemen. What is she setting up here, ladies and gentlemen? Talking trash here. Oh, no, we've seen this maneuver before, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. Viciously slamming the head. Viciously slamming the head of Devin Myers into the mat. Oh my goodness, the impact of the face of Devin Myers into the ground as El Duman pulling out new moves in her arsenal here. Kneeling DDT, ladies and gentlemen. Out of the arsenal now, we follow it with a Venom lock, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Venom lock here, locked in tight by El Duman. She's got it now. Venom lock locked in tight as El Duman is stretching the abdominal of Devin Myers, and now Devin Myers giving up.
Yes, you did.
I'm right to my opinion.
Well, of course you had to ride with your delivery and way. And
Too much of a coincidence. Baseball
right.
starts tomorrow. It's a guaranteed.
Looking on in awe.
Too much.
Looking easily over the top rope.
Look at that. Ride the edge of a lightning bolt, and it's not like WrestleMania 9.
Now this is going to be something here.
Black smoke.
Wallace.
You're gonna have to.
The winner of this bout
And I don't
brings
know
over
what
the
happened.
disqualification.
Listen to this. They took him out on a stretcher. All of a sudden, he comes walking back up.
Let's go back to Mean Gene Okerlund.
Lily,